Do you want to do our deep dive?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's head into it.
Cool.
Deep dive of the week.
Deep dive of the week.
Something I haven't seen.
Yeah, I have seen this movie, this show.
Yeah.
It's only 6 episodes. It's Golden Boy, and I call that, AKA, the Johnny Bravo story.
Well, if Johnny Bravo always had an epilogue where the girls always liked him.
Yeah,
you know?
The true Johnny Bravo story.
Kintaro is always ends up getting them.
Yeah. Well, Golden Boy is about a show about this main character is Kintaro, who I see him as a pervert who just wants to learn. That's all he is. He's just trying to get some he wants real world education. Just a quick breakdown of the character Kintaro. He withdrew from Tokyo Law School after he completed all of his classes. I highly doubt that. I think he was kicked out. I think he was disbarred. Yeah. And I don't believe he finished any of his classes. I think majority of his classes, they were like, you got to get the fuck out. I don't even think he completed freshman year. I think he didn't even get past undergrad. Undergrad, I think.
Yeah.
I think Kintaro was maybe got admitted to college. And then after first semester, like, hey, you got to leave.
Yeah, you're smelling all the girls' toilets.
Yeah.
You gotta.
We will. The toilet thing.
Yeah.
I don't know how they got it in basically every episode.
Yeah. He's smelling, but like the
Japanese toilets.
The Japanese toilets, which I can't believe they've had these. Why can't we get these? They've had these since the 90s.
This is the 90s.
Probably even before.
Yeah. We're so far behind in toilet technology. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So the show is described as a sex comedy. That's the genre of the show.
Yes.
And Kintaro goes from town to town, and he's basically like a nomad on his bike, the Mikazuki 5, which I love. I love that bike. I'm like, oh man, I would like every time I watch this show, I'm like, I should buy a bike.
Yeah, it definitely romanticizes bike riding.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
It's very different than actual bike riding.
Benkyo. That's just saying study. Study.
Kintaro, you should get a Peloton, bro.
Just get one job and a Peloton.
Get one job and a Peloton and just hyper focus. I think it's honestly probably a better thing that we put him out on the road, because I think a focused guy like him, he would probably be an evil stockbroker, just taking over the world, just like Gordon Geckoing the world. Right. Just put it's kind of like that Bill Burr joke about Lance Armstrong. Just put him on the bike. We don't want to see what this guy does if he's not on his bike. You know how much energy he's expending on this bike? Like, I think you want him on the bike as opposed to just terrorizing women from town to town. This is what he basically does: is he goes and he picks up odd jobs. And kind of like a work study situation, he just wants to get paid and experience. Mm-hmm. So every episode follows him as he learns from these highly sexualized female characters. Mm-hmm. Basically, episode 1 is a computer studies episode. What'd you think about that episode?
I thought that episode was fun. It reminded me of, because we both worked as temps.
Yes.
And when I was temping a lot, I would work at a lot of startups.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, because Kintaro shows up and it's like office of beautiful women.
Yes.
And when I was working at startups, it's all young and hot people.
Yes, it's true.
And I was like, whoa! I was like, this is in the 90s, but it's like that's kind of what it's like. Because you show up to these startups and it's so it's so funny because they're always young and hot, but they're also these new companies, so they're like. It's we're open to everyone. We want everyone in the company. We don't discriminate against anyone. I'm like, where are the ugly people? Where are the ugly people? You say that, but where are the ugly people?
Yeah. We're kind of like TikTok. but The Office. Yeah. It's like TikTok meets The Office. No ugly people, and and we're all doing these weird generic dances for some reason.
Exactly.
I think the first episode was super fun. I love that it follows the relationship between Kintaro and the boss, and her name is just Madam President.
Mm-hmm.
If you imagine what Hillary Clinton if she was in a BDSM, and this is the character. She shows up, and the first time you see her, she gets out of the car, she runs over to Kintaro, and he falls in the garbage, and she gets out of the car and steps out, and her boobs bounce for way too long.
Yeah.
Her titties have aftershocks. I don't understand how they'll just it's 20 seconds into her monologue and they're still bouncing, and I'm like, how is this possible?
Dude, it's all nipples and
she's wearing leather.
You can honestly, you can see the lips of her vagina.
Yeah,
And I was like, what? This, you know what this show reminded me of?
Yeah.
90s anime was so horny.
Yes.
I was like, who are these guys? It's like Japan was just
we'll get into the creator of the show. Super interesting guy in my opinion. So his first educational lesson, which I think is accurate, is that women are scary. Which I think any anime fanboy is like, yes, I totally agree.
This is the greatest show ever.
Kintaro is my spirit animal. I think he understands exactly where I'm coming from in this situation. And so at first you're like, okay, Kintaro is just like a fucking pervy boy, which is very interesting because I think a lot of anime now, the pervy boy usually isn't the main character. Mm-hmm. It's usually like a side character to someone for comic relief. And it's really hard to get layers out of a character like Kintaro, but I think they do that in a really fun way.
Yeah.
And he makes everything, we've kind of talked about this before, but he makes everything sexual. And this first job is he's trying to learn how to do code, essentially. Uh-huh. And he learns code on a computer he made he made a keyboard out of paper. And he just learns how to code, and everyone's like, yeah, no, that doesn't work. That's not how you fucking do it, you idiot. You go clean the toilets. Right. Which, like you were saying, he goes and he licks and he drinks the toilet water.
Yeah.
How did you react to the first time seeing that?
I mean, it's I don't know how to describe it because it's so weird because you can't. In so many ways, you can't make a show like this anymore.
Yes.
So my brain is almost programmed to it shoots up the red flag first. That's just unfortunately the modern response.
I think that's fair though. I think seeing a guy getting so excited to lick a toilet seat that a woman that he finds attractive sat on, and being like, that's not right, is the appropriate response.
But what I will say is the facial expressions when he's caught are hilarious.
They're so funny.
Yeah.
This show is so funny. Mm-hmm. And the genre is sex comedy. I don't think I've seen an anime that makes so many over-the-top crass sex jokes, but in a very well-done way. We were talking about Yuri on Ice last week and how, tastefully done it was. Uh-huh. This is nah, fuck taste. We're going balls to the wall.
This is in so many ways the opposite of of last week, but also somehow we're still 2 for 2 in animes where a guy says, "I'm gonna come."
I'm gonna come.
Somehow we're still 2 for 2,
and we also get a woman saying that too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a moment. We'll talk about that, but there's a moment where a woman says, "I'm gonna come," and that's also done in a very beautiful way, kind of.
Yes.
There's the part where Madam President spits at Kintaro and he opens his mouth up with such glee
and catches it
in his mouth, and I'm just like, oh my God. I remember the first time I saw that as a kid, I almost flipped my laptop. I was like, this is insane. Episode 2 is The Temptation of the Maiden. This is where Kintaro is basically working for a guy, this shady dude who's running for mayor. So Kintaro joins his election committee or his election staff and is basically trying to drum up votes for this guy, Katsuda. And it's basically, and the girl that Kintaro is, his love interest for this episode is Naoko Katsuda. And she's basically Ivanka Trump. That's basically what she is.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll he tells her, he is obsessed with her. At one point during his inner monologue, he goes smile at me so you can make me come. I'm like, whoa, dude, you're fucking so horny.
Yeah, this girl's in high school.
Yeah. I remember watching this, I think maybe 5 years ago, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And now I'm like, yeah.
I think the older you get, the less you're going to feel for this one.
Yes.
I think if you watch this when you're 16, you're like, ooh, yeah.
I guess you don't really realize how old he is until like the second rewatch. You're like, oh yeah, he's like,
probably like 30.
Yeah, he's probably like 30 years old. Like,
Yeah.
Like left law school, completed all of his courses.
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty smart, so maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe like 26, 27.
Yeah.
Maybe if he completed everything super fast. But yeah, I was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
He's getting real pervy. Like it's one thing to be a perv, but it's like, are you a pedophile?
Come on, man.
Yeah, like, are you?
We don't even know what year this girl is in high school.
It's like, come on, man. You're like, dude, like this is way too early for this shit, bro.
Yeah.
Episode 3. I love this episode the most. It's The Virgin's First Love. It's the new one. The new episode. Mr. Kaguri. The new episode. Kintaro's working at a noodle restaurant. He's interning because the guy who owns it got ran over by a car and hurt his arm, so he can't make noodles anymore. So he hires Kintaro, and Kintaro is falling for his daughter, Hiroyuki, but she's in love with this guy named Mr. Kaguri, who looks like an evil Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Like
he was huge.
He was huge.
Yeah.
He was huge. And immediately he walks in. He's this nice guy. And I'm like, this guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like he just shows up showing off his Benz. He's like, oh, yeah, like I got this building over here, this building over here. I'm like, this asshole. Like I feel like he's the perfect like Japanese yuppie of the 90s.
Yeah.
He's just like talking about how rich he is. And like he's like trying to like seduce this family to take over so that he can take over their family business. I thought that was pretty like unexpected.
Yeah,
like I knew he was gonna be an asshole, but like to the lengths of how much of he was an asshole was really funny to me.
Yeah, it was a very convoluted plot to open up your own nightclub because all right, step by step. Step 1, do a hit and run.
Yes,
and then also save the person from the hit and run.
Yes.
Step 2, date the guy's daughter. Step 3, marry her and take over the business. Step 4, turn it into a nightclub. I'm like, can't you just get a loan from the government?
Yeah, it's like, is that the best location?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Why does it have to be this noodle shop?
Yeah, exactly.
It's also like, why does it have to leave? Why don't you turn into a nightclub, but also like, why don't you just turn into a really cool restaurant?
Yeah.
It's like, it's an old school noodle shop. It's like, keep the noodles, change the atmosphere, you know? Like, you're forgetting all the various accoutrements that goes into like an establishment.
Yeah.
And you're forgetting that it starts with the food, you idiot.
Yeah. You know what it reminded me? It reminded me of that meme where it really felt like he just started with 1, hit and run, 2, question mark, 3, question mark, 4, profit.
Yeah.
he's like, I know I'm going to do a hit and run, and then it'll be profitable. I don't know how yet.
My favorite line in this is then when Kintaro finds out the guy's plot, he tries to beg him not to go through with the plot, and then he beats the shit out of Kintaro and he goes, hey, listen, I'm licensed in karate.
Yeah.
Licensed in karate. Yeah. And he's like, get the fuck out of here, noodle boy. It's just so funny to call something licensed in karate. It's just like, say I have a black belt.
I got a black belt. Yeah.
Like, I have a black belt. And it's like also just shows you how popular karate was in the 90s. Right. Yeah. I was like, whoa, this guy does karate.
Everyone was into it.
Yeah.
I was into it.
He tries to get Hiroyuki to propose. He proposes to Hiroyuki and tries to have sex with her, but Kintaro intercedes, and he basically just like they're at one point they're buttoning the guy Mr. Kogori. He unbuttons her shirt. And then Kintaro buttons her shirt back.
Yeah, Kintaro's hiding in like they're at a baseball stadium, and Kintaro's hiding in like the mascot's costume, which they think is just like a plushie in the background, but he's actually like. He's also like reaching out to intervene. Yeah,
so every time he's like trying to go too far, like he unzips her pants, Kintaro zips it back up, and then he goes in for the kiss, and then he kisses Kintaro with the screwball kiss, which is like his finishing move, and Kintaro basically jizzes his pants.
Yeah.
Kintaro, it's such a good kiss that Kintaro is still like in a post-sex haze like 20 minutes later. Episode 4. Is the swimming episode.
Oh yeah.
I love this episode because when he sees the girl, he starts monologuing like Ahab in Moby Dick. And it's like a swimming thing, just like, oh, she will be mine by the seven seas and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he sees her. He sees her, but then like the backdrop dissolves from like a winter Japan day into the savannah of like the plains of Africa.
Yeah, he's like, I will hunt you down. It's like, that's not how you should talk about a woman.
Dude, we got to bring it back.
Yeah. Bring back the 90s, man.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm trying to see women with a backdrop of the desert.
Yeah. So, at one point when she offers to train him, like she like her outfit turns into like a BDSM outfit and he turns into a dolphin. And it's just like, this is like a better version of SeaWorld, I think. I can't tell.
Hey, it's
like adult SeaWorld. Seaman World or something. I don't know. At one point, he like gets this huge boner that comes straight out of his drops. And listen, I think every guy has been there when they've gotten a boner in the pool. He's like, I'm going to just stay in the pool for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
But he gives no fucks. He just goes right out of the pool. And he immediately gets fired. He's just like, yeah, of course you should get fired. Episode 5, the motorcycle girl episode.
This one's wild.
This one is where they just jump the shark. And they should have jumped it in the 4th episode.
Yeah.
The girl is so like, she like has completely given up hope on men. And she's like, the only thing that can make me come from now on is the motorcycle.
Yeah.
And I will say this, they do make it sensual enough.
Well, yeah. Well, like within like a few minutes, like it's like the opening minutes is she's like, she's like masturbating to like to the roar of the bike
in broad daylight. Yeah. Like she's just going for it
at a gas station.
Yeah, and then she gets mad at him for looking, and I'm like, what the fuck? Wait, hold up. You are jerking off in public.
Don't put this on me. Don't put this on me.
If he's horny, it's your fault at this point. There's nothing you can say at this point.
Can you imagine if someone's jerking off next to you, and then you like look at him, they're like, oh. Just like right away.
Yeah, this is the 2nd episode where he gets fired for being a perv as well, because they caught him like licking the toilet bowl and like going into this girl's room and going through all of her stuff. They're like, yeah, we don't think it's working out. And he's like, but why? And they're like, you should probably just like think about what you've done.
I think she says like look into your heart or something. Yeah. And he's like,
and then he just stays there for 20 days.
Is it 20 days?
It's like 23 days that he waits outside of their house, and he's like, I guess nothing's gonna happen, so I should leave. And then he goes on what I think is the funniest. He and the girl have the funniest race of all time. Like forget World of Wacky's racist. Like I think this is the funniest one, because like he's like keeping up with this girl on a bike. Yeah, and she's on just great. She's like on this really souped up motorcycle. And that's how horny he is. He's just, it's like, I gotta beat, hey, if I get to fucking fuck her, I can fucking beat her on this bike. Yeah. Like this dude would win the Tour de France.
Oh, if it meant
he just fucked like a woman at the end of the Tour de France. He like jumps off of a cliff.
Yeah, because his brakes go out.
Yeah,
and he just goes straight down and flies off like a broken bridge.
Made me laugh so hard.
Yeah.
Made me laugh so hard. And then at the end, when she sees him fly off the bridge, she's like, Come fuck me.
She's like, oh my God.
That's how every episode ends, by the way, with the woman wanting Kintaro.
Yeah, the women all realize that they're like he's the love of their life.
Yeah, I think one lesson you can learn from this show is that like sexually assault women and it'll work out. I guess I don't know.
Well, you know what I almost want to call this show? This show should be called Well, Actually, the anime, because it's all these women who think they know what's right. These women
go off.
They think they know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
but then a man comes around.
Then an idiot man comes around.
You think this man's an idiot?
Yeah. He's like, I'm just a normal man on a bike, and let me tell you, you've been doing your business all wrong.
Yeah. So that's another 2020. You're like, ooh, I think people would be, I don't know if the guy can always be right. Every episode.
Yeah, I will say the last episode 6, animation is fun, is probably my second favorite episode.
Yeah,
because it does a really good job of showing how anime is made. I think the character, he doesn't really sexually he like kind of like fantasizes about her.
He goes for the toilet.
Yeah, it's like old habits die like are hard to kick, you know. It's kind of it's meta, and at one point, I don't know if you noticed this, but the creator of the show, Tatsuya Egawa, is in the episode.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's the guy who's like in the purple outfit and everything like that, who's like super cool and handsome and like.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, he was referencing himself, which I thought was super fucking funny.
Oh, that's funny.
I think the toilet gag in this episode is so funny because he's holding a knife while he's doing it, and he accidentally slashes the production chief's hair. So he looks like a complete psycho, just licking a toilet bowl, like about to lick a toilet bowl while holding a fucking knife. I think they go really, really ham in this episode in regards to the facial expressions. They really ratchet it up. And at the 16:20 mark, I think Kintaro said something, and I think he kind of encapsulates what I love about anime, is that there's no job that's unimportant. Animation is more than pictures that move and colors and sounds. It's all those combined, and a lot of things you can't do in live action films and videos. So these people get together to make that, and I think that's what's so brilliant about anime, because it's like so hard to make really good anime. Like, I work in TV a little bit, and I'm surprised when any show gets made. Like, it's a miracle any TV show ever gets made. But it's just a bunch of people coming together. So to do that, but animation, I think, is even more impressive to do that. I think he encapsulates that in that episode so well, and it's like a good callback to all the girls from the previous episodes,
because he recruits them because they're like under a really strict deadline, and he brings them all in to help with various tasks that they're all like proficient at.
And then Kintaro does the last moment is a Irish goodbye. So that's what he is. He's like just the personification of an Irish goodbye. And I really like the conclusion of that episode. You find I just did some research on the creator Tatsuya Egawa. He directed live action porn.
Oh, well, it's all coming together.
It's all coming together.
They're all coming together.
I see what you did there. He reminds me of this director named Gaspar Noé, who's really good at showing the sensual aspects of sex.
Oh, I think I know him.
Gaspar Noé. He's got this great movie called Love. It's really good. You shouldn't watch it if you're not 18. But it's this really cool movie. It shows like how sensual love can be. But I think Tatsuya's whole thing is trying to show how funny sex is and how funny sexuality can be. And I think he takes it to the extremes because I think we've talked about this before, like how like it's dumb. It's kind of funny how horny men can get.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, it's hilarious. Sometimes you just catch yourself being like, "This is wild." This is so stupid.
It's so dumb how horny I am about.
I would love to just follow my dreams. But right now I got to be horny.
I was at this comedy show last week, and it was outside, and there were all these beautiful women. And I was like, oh my God. In my head, I was like, oh my God, look at all these beautiful women. And then every comic who was on the show, every male comic, and even there was another comic on their show, and she was lesbian. And she, they came up to me at one point like, have you see all these girls here? And it was just like, dude, every guy has to come up and tell me about how I have eyes.
Yeah. Dude, I love it when the guy, because I think, and you probably relate to this, where it's like I think I'm bad, where I'm like, oh, I wish I wasn't like, I wish I wasn't thinking about this right now. I wish I could just like, pretend that person wasn't here or something.
Yes.
And then you meet a guy who's just like, damn, look at those girls' boobs, and you're like, okay, this guy's worse than me.
This guy's way worse. Like, you can't even help yourself. And like, there's no like, this is not saying an excuse, but I think it is like funny. Like the construction worker who has to say something to every girl. Hey lady. Or like just like how like the male gaze is just this like uncontrollable urge. It's just like this like thing in your head that you can't even control. Even with your with all your mind, you're like, oh god damn it, this girl's so hot. I gotta be cool. But Kintaro is like that to the maximum.
Right.
Like, oh my god, this girl's breast is 34D, and it's like taking down notes and everything.
Yeah.
And like I remember like in the beginning of the episode of the first or somewhere in the first episode, he shows off his notes to Madam President. Mm-hmm. And she just like it's just like pictures that he drew of her body.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no. I just think it's so funny that like that is constantly like just happening like in every like male. And mm-hmm. I think Tetsuya just was like, yeah, I think this is funny, and he just leans into it. So it is crass, but I think it's like it comes from a place of like honesty. I would say I recommend this show to laugh at, but not to copy.
Yeah, it's a comedy, not
it is a comedy.
Yeah, not a guidebook.
No. Yeah. So what'd you think? What'd you think overall?
I liked it. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
I wish I watched it. I think it was like it's truly like a week to week. I wish I spaced it. I watched it all in one night.
Yeah.
And I think by the end I was just like a little hazy.
Yes.
And but I wished, but I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
And
who's your favorite girl?
Who's my favorite girl? Oof, don't say high school girl. Don't say high school girl.
Too late.
Oh, no.
Cancelled.
Canceled.
Second episode, you've already gotten canceled.
the thumbnail for this episode is
you and Chris D'Elia got to go start your own podcast.
Cut my hair off. Shave my beard. Cut my hair off.
I will say this. You kind of could pass for Kintaro if you shaved your beard.
Oh.
With your hair right now the way it is. All you need is a bike.
God damn, I'm going to have to change my whole...
gloves.
I'm going to have to change my whole lifestyle because of this goddamn show.
And a red hat. I feel like I really want to like get a thumbnail of you with a red hat backwards and just being like... making the perviest face ever. I think my favorite girl, best girl for this episode, for this show, I would give it to the swim instructor.
Swim instructor, okay, yeah.
I thought
gold medalist.
Yeah, I thought she was like the hardest to break, and I thought the one with the most ground to stand on to fire Kintaro. Her or Yuri. I think Yuri was also pretty cool because it was like she really did like she was just kind of like trying to take care of her family, and she was like worried about her family, which I really thought was cool. Yeah,
I think I like the animator.
She was cool too. She was third in my opinion.
I liked her.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I almost want to be like, oh, Madam President, but it's like, you know, she's wearing like a swimsuit to work every day, and I feel like if I say that,
dude, I would get no work done at that office. I'm like, oh my god, can you mean like? I'm like, I know it's your body, but like you wouldn't like me just with my tight ass jeans and my dick print. Just
can I turn the heat up? Your nipples are just so distracting.
Yeah,
can I please turn the heat up?
Cool.
But yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, great. I think next week we're gonna be doing Erase.
Yeah, we're gonna do Erased.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah,
a little bit of a detective story.
Yeah, there'll be more mystery here as opposed to just just a guy sexualizing poor women.
Yeah.
Great, man.
Yeah, and then I think that battery's almost dead, but
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Follow us here and there, and
like and subscribe. Click that notification bell. Click that shit. And we'll be back next week.
Yeah.
Peace and love.
Later.
Bye.